Alright, good morning everyone. Thank you for being here this morning. We apologize for starting a little late. My name is Darrell Smith, Alderman Smith, Chairman of the Diego Martin Regional Corporation. To my right is the Vice Chairman, Councillor Cathy Christopher. And to my left is Mr. John Joseph of the Health Department of the Diego Martin Regional Corporation. We've called you all here this morning to get some information out to the purchasers of the region and to the nation on a whole with regards to our plans in Diego Martin for the corporation with regards to flooding. Since we came in 5 months ago in November, we have been adamant that our main focus is to ensure that we alleviate the flooding situation that has been occurring in the region for the past 3 years. We have embarked on a rigorous program where we are funneling all our resources towards cleaning all the drains under the purview of the Diego Martin Regional Corporation. But there's a misconception out there where a lot of people think that we're actually in charge of the main water courses, the Diego Martin River, the Maraval River, and the other big water courses, which is under the purview of Minister Ganga Singh and the Ministry of Environment and Water Resources. The issue that we've been having is, while we are doing our part at the corporation to clean all our drains, the ministry has not been fulfilling their side of the bargain, which is cleaning, desilting, cutting the bush, and of course an overall plan for flooding in the Diego Martin region, which we know will take some time and cost some millions well, but at least we want to see something being started. But we're here today just to talk about the low-lying fruit, which is just the basic maintenance of the main water courses. This council remains and will continue to stay proactive. We don't want to be reactive, and it seems as if the ministries are looking to be reactive. When the cameras are here, when there's a natural disaster and there's a flood, the helicopters come, hundreds of millions of dollars are spent in a 2-week period to fix drains, to move mud, to give people mattresses and so on. The people of Diego Martin region are on edge. They're not going to be tolerating that this year, next year, or in the future. They want to see people being proactive. They want to see that 100 million being spent now to clean the drains, to desilt, to work with the corporation, so we won't be spending topping money and wasting money, where we're going to be spending now what we're doing now, and when our rivers flow into the main arteries, it's going to be backing up. So we're pleading with all the stakeholders, all the government agencies to please come on board with us. We have 60 days literally for the rainy season to start. There's a new syndrome that is occurring in the region called rainophobia, where once it drizzles, people in Diego Martin start to panic. People come out of their house at 2 o'clock in the morning to remove their cars to higher grounds. They start making sandbags. They look out the window, they cannot sleep. There's hypertension, there's high blood pressure. We want the people of the Diego Martin region to be calm, to remain healthy, and the only way we could do this is working together as a team. What we have asked our CEO to do is to start to veer money from various votes. We have stopped all spending with regards to any other activities that we will be having, and channel it towards not only doing our project, but we may now actually start to clean in the main rivers and doing the job of water and environment. But Vice Chairman, the council and the staff cannot sit back here and idly say it's not our job. If the people are coming first, we're focusing on the people, and if that is the case, we have to go and do the job. So we played in one last time. We've invited them to our coordinated meetings, which is monthly. They haven't attended any. We've written several letters. We haven't gotten any major response. We had 1 or 2 meetings, if so much, and we weren't pleased with what we were hearing. All we are asking is to come and do the job that you're being given to do. You all have the budgets. Our budget is minuscule compared to what you all have. In fact, we have inherited the budget from the previous council. Remember, we came in November, the election was in October. So we came in and inherited a very small budget which was skewed towards not even fixing or cleaning the drains. We are now trying to tailor it to suit our needs. So we are here today to tell the people of Diego Martin that we are not in charge of the Diego Martin River, the Maraval River. However, we are going in and do the job if the others won't do it. We had a meeting yesterday and we spoke to CPEP in our coordinating meeting, and we're hoping that they could probably team with us for a week or 2 to send some of their workers to the region to come and assist us with cutting the bush at least in the rivers. Just imagine that a bushfire in the Diego Martin River the other day. That's to show you how high the bush is in the river. Right? A lot of people are calling thinking that it's under our purview. It is not, but we are taking the buck and we're going to move forward with regards to that. My vice chair here was affected one of the main people. She's the councillor for Rich Plain. And I mean, she has a lot to say because she actually lost her purchase there a couple of years ago in the mudslide, if you recall. So she's very passionate about it, just like me and the rest of the council. Kat, I don't know if you want to say a few words.
Definitely. The chairman spoke about the coordinating meetings that we normally have. These coordinating meetings are stipulated in the Act 21 of 1990, the Municipal Act, Section 253, that requests or requires all the regional bodies, all the agencies to come in and partner with us so that we can know what's going on. These rivers and water courses are under the purview of the Ministry of the Water Resources and the Environment, Drainage Division, and they really are not coming in to do what is required of them. We have had 2, I believe it is, informal meetings with this ministry, and the promises that they've made to us have not been forthcoming. In 2010, July 2010, we experienced a natural disaster in Diego Martin. We did it again in November 2011, in August 2012, and again in August 2013. We refuse as this new council to go through that again in 2014. I mean, it's not as if it's going to take us by surprise. We know what's coming. So we have to be prepared for it. We're not going to wait to beg the ministries to come in and spend $3, $4, $5 million after the disaster. We want to ensure that we don't have that much cleanup to do after. So we are begging the ministries, the ministers, to come in, do their part of the bargain. We are also requesting Self-Help Commission. This is the agency that is supposed to help the Burgesses after the floods, the retaining walls that went down, the homes that fell. We are asking them to come in. In Covey-Rich Plain alone, we have 272 Burgesses that have not been helped by this commission, Self-Help Commission. And we are again saying that we in Diego Martin are not accepting what happened in the past 3 years. We are not taking it in 2014. We are saying that they must come in and they must do what is mandated by them.
One of the major issues that we have is down by the river mouth at the international school. They were desilting down there, and the talk is, the rumor is, the night of the results of the local election, all the backhoes and earth movers left. And if you go down there, if you've probably seen the pictures behind me, they left a huge island in the middle which is damming the flow of the water to the sea. And it's literally, ironically, people down there are calling it the Gangasing Island. I'm sure people haven't built houses and things on it as yet. They need to finish the job. We could clean all the rivers we want. If it's being dammed down there by the end to go out to the sea, we're spending topping money literally. We're spending millions of dollars on cleaning the drains. We're hoping that these other agencies come in to spend and assist. But if down there is not dredged properly, we're in trouble. So again, we are really pleading. We have with me here Mr. Joseph from the Health Department here, who's on the ground, who could give you a little more insight with regards to what we have done so far.
Yes. Yes, good morning everyone. We have a program that we normally undertake. At present, we are about to embark upon cleaning our 36 major water courses, some of which fall under our purview. And if we don't do these water courses, we are in real trouble. What has happened is that we attempted on numerous occasions to contact the Ministry of Water Resources. They have purview, as the chairman has indicated, on the main rivers. When we clean our drains, and our drains go into their water courses that they are not maintained, they cause a huge problem. By next week, please God, we hope to embark upon cleaning some of these major water courses that would mitigate against any flooding that would take place. Now, we have a normal cycle of cleaning drains. Every year, however, there are certain water courses that must be done by contract because of the fact that the volume that exists in cleaning those water courses. As we've indicated before, it is important that the drains are clean, but more importantly is that the major water courses that fall under the purview of the Ministry of Water Resources and the Environment, they have to be clean. Because if we clean our drains, and as the chairman has indicated, and their water courses are not clean, it makes no sense. And seeing what has happened last year and the year before, we are hoping that with the Ministry of Water Resources come on board, do what they are supposed to do. As the chairman has indicated, yesterday in the meeting with CPEP, they have indicated that they will give us some assistance in doing our part.
One of the plans that we're also looking at doing is reforestation. As you all know, this has been one of the driest, hottest dry seasons. It's 34 degrees today. We have a number of bushfires that are happening throughout the region. when these bushfires occur, again, with the vast amount of building that is occurring through squatters and also through the major luxury homes that are going up, there's a lot of runoff. With the bamboo patches and the grass and the trees that are being burnt, it's going to even have quicker runoff. And of course the landslides. So we are going to embark through the Green Fund and some of the agencies that we're looking at to go on a reforesting program. Of course we have to wait until things are cool down up there to see what we could do on our part to do that. But we could only do it when it's conducive at the hills to do some reforestation. Any questions?
Okay, I'd like to know something. You said that you're running on a budget from the previous administration, I was there, right? What budget is it that you were left to hold?
Alright, so there are two budgets more or less. It's development, which is for projects that are done in the region. We can't touch that basically, but however, in that project is drainage, paving of roads, curbs, pavements, etc. We were blown away that the last council, going through what they went through, didn't skew or have a ratio where majority of their money would have gone into drainage. When we look at their budget, there's still a lot of paving of roads, which to me is politics. When you pave roads, people see you doing work. When you're fixing drains, it's on the hills. When you're doing silt ponds or retention ponds, nobody see that work, right? And as you know how government work, if you try to tweak or change that at this point, we may run ourselves in problems with regards to stopping everything, or the red tape just doesn't make enough sense. We are currently working on our budget for next fiscal year, and you'll see a complete swing where we're looking at almost 70 to 80% of that budget will be totally to deal with drainage. And I can't understand how our council could sit down here for 3 years, go through what they went through, and don't have that same ratio. So you're not going to see much paving of roads in Diego Martin, and I think the people of Diego Martin will understand and respect that. They may not see what's going on because it's going to be going on where there are earthen drains, where there are springs behind houses and stuff, but work is being done. We're trying to document it and utilize social media and the website to show people that work is being done. But Mr. Joseph and his team, they're in the background. We're not about the limelight. To be quite honest, having this press conference, we would have much preferred to be out on the field, but we've written, we have gone, we have called, and this seems to be the only way that people listen, and to get the public aware that the corporation is doing all it can in its jurisdiction, and the other stakeholders that literally are holding back progress in Diego Martin. And again, this is the low-lying fruit, guys. Diego Martin infrastructure is 30, 40 years behind the development that is happening. It's triple, quadruple the amount of people that live here. We have to do an overall plan to redo the drainage systems in the region. It's going to take time. It may take 5, 6 years. It's going to cost a lot of money, but at least start. We don't have the funding, we don't have the assets, we don't have the money to do a project such as in that scale. Right? In terms of the recurring budget that you spoke about, it's something called recurrence, where that is to pay staff, to pay the electricity bill, and to do little basic maintenance. Even that budget is something that we can't really touch because that is to pay the basic what's going on, maintenance and stuff. So our development budget that we're doing now is going to reflect 80% of that money, if so little, is going to go in towards drainage.
Okay, so at this time, so you believe that that you've tried to clear up most of it already? You believe that you won't have a major problem so far this year with the rainy season coming? You believe that? You've done a lot of work towards that?
Everything is dependent upon the work that we hope to accomplish. At present, we have been able to so far, but it's critical at present. As I mentioned before, we are embarking upon a major exercise within the community to do our drains and the drains that were supposed to be done by the Ministry of Water Resources. We would have hoped that we would have started before, because when we attempted to engage the Ministry of Water Resources, we got no response from them. Because it would be admirable if they would have done their part before or along with us. But at present, we are hoping that the weather treats us nicely and that the work that we embark upon next week, please God, and the assistance of other agencies, that we'll be able to, let's say, mitigate against any flood that would occur.
The reforestation drive you spoke about, can you tell us how much, I guess, forest or land you've lost on the hill so far?
Yeah, every day they seem to have forest fires. We were in our statutory meeting yesterday and we were looking through the windows here and those burning on the hills there. So to give an idea right now in terms of acreage, we're working that out now. We want to go through the Green Fund, which in itself to get money is a tedious process. I mean, it's an application form that is pretty big, but we're going to go through with it. We're looking to partner with some sponsors. Previously, FCB, I think, worked with the corporation to do that, so we're looking at partnering with sponsors, and we want to give young people, one of the number one requests we get in this area in the corporation is jobs. So we could probably hire young people to work with us to reforest. But for crime, we all call it hot spots. In this corporation, we call it wet spots. There are certain areas that always flood. Councillor here, Farm Road, and certain areas have a lot of landslides, etc. So we are aware where it happens every year. So to answer your question with regards to the reforestation, we're going to be looking at the hills behind those areas first. So they may not have bushfires there, but we still know that there's needing of that. If you notice when there's flooding, there's a lot of bamboo and trees come down and actually dam. It happened behind TSCT the time we hit it. That's what comes down when there's bushfire. When it burns and it just falls and the rain bring down those things. So when you have the trees to hold it and hold the soil, it assists with the silt and the trees and the bushes that come down to dam the rivers.
What's being done to, I guess, combat the forest fires? I know not much can be done sometimes, as well as the development on the hills. Yeah,
well, in terms of the forest fires, there's really not much that we could do. We are doing cleanup campaigns, we're picking up the trash and stuff, but Diego Martin has a nasty habit of having a lot of illegal dumping, right? Bushfires could be started from a piece of glass, from people being negligent with the cigarettes, etc. So there's not much we could do with that. It rained today and I was very pleased with regards to that. It rained to wet the soil. So in terms of that, we can't do much with the forest fire.
And also the jurisdiction for the building of homes on the hills is under town and country planning, and that has stopped in the past year and a half. That there would be no legalization of anybody building homes on the hills anymore. So there will be no clearing of spots or anything like that for quite some time. We've put a stop to that.
What happened with the program that you launched about maybe a month or two ago?
The People Driven?
Yeah, the one where you're going out into the
community. Fantastic. In fact, after this, we go in Cocorite. We did Paramin, we did Bagatelle. Of course, in between they had Carnival. We had a couple of things, but it's continuing. Until we go in Cocorite, Paramin was very good. The main concern the people in Paramin had was water. They want water for their farming. There's a huge farming facility and area there, but it's going smooth, and the people on the ground are appreciative of us coming up with innovative ways to meet and talk with them.
And I think we need to even reiterate the fact that Drainage Division just doesn't need to come in and clear the rivers or seal the rivers and clean the rivers and cut the bush. There has been no infrastructural work done since the major disaster in 2010. So every year that we have been hit with a disaster in Diego Martin, what was destroyed in 2010 has never been repaired. And we have put nothing else in place or put up taller walls in the rivers and so on. We have not dropped the riverbeds, we have not stepped down the riverbeds or anything like that in Diego Martin. And we cannot do it as the Diego Martin Regional Corporation. We have to depend on this ministry to come in and do it. They are the ones that are financed every year by the budget of the government of trying to be able to do that. We cannot do it. So again, we're pleading with them, please come in, do what is your responsibility so that Diego Martin people could sleep in a little bit of peace.
And we also hearing that in other areas work is being done. And to be quite frank, Diego Martin should be the top priority, because you all know the kind of money that is spent. I mean, last year before, it was 100 million spent in two or three weeks. 100 million. Take that money now, you're 2012, take that money, that 100 million, and be proactive and spend it now to do the work rather than, with the cameras, as I said before, and all the rush. But in meeting with Water and Environment, we had a meeting with some supervisory level. That's the only level we taking what we get. And they're saying they're short staff. They're saying they don't have the equipment. They're asking us to borrow our equipment. They're asking us to lend them staff. I mean, it can't go like that. And our CEO is having difficulty because our budget, as you know, government work, she's finding difficulty to spend on something that is not even in our jurisdiction. So we have stopped. We were planning to have a civic week. We haven't had a civic week in Diego Martin for years. We think Diego Martin need to have some vibes and let young people see. We cancel all that. We're not having any Christmas dinner. We're not giving out any hampers. People writing us letters or we're turning it down simply because we're saying all our resources are going towards what the Ministry of Water and Environment is not doing. That's what it boils down to. And the staff is on board with us. The staff usually like the sports day, they like the Christmas dinner, but they're saying, you know what, Mr. Smith, Mr. Chairman, when it's flood time, all of us have to come out from wherever we live to work, so put all the resources. So I really want to thank the staff for being understanding and sacrificing, and I hope that the ministries are taking note.
We also have about 512 drains in Deborah Martin that we clean on a cycle all the time. And the ground staff, as the chairman is saying, are the ones that go out there and get into those drains and ensure that our drains are clear. But again, those drains are the ones that run off into the major water courses that is under the ministry's jurisdiction, that we are again asking, don't let our work go to naught. Come in and do what it is you're supposed to do.
Now, what the health department had done about a month and a half ago, we had itemized about 8 or 9 water courses that the Ministry of Water Resources are responsible for. We went to them, we took it to them, and the meeting we had with them, it may have been about 2 weeks ago, asking them what was completed. Those who represented the ministry at that time weren't able to say if it had started or if they are in progress. No one knew. Things like the Patna Ravine, Rich Plain River, all these are major water courses that cause flooding every single year. And these, as I mentioned before, fall under the purview of the Ministry of Water Resources. We were hoping that they would have done something by now, but however, the health department had received no response from the ministry. As a result, we are hoping that with this conference that they will come out and do what they are supposed to.
So the last thing that we're pleading, even from Minister Marlene Kudre, to work with our CEO in light of what is happening, to lego the funds for the regional corporation. Let your PS, your finance people, work with our CEO to let us get the funds to do what we have to do.